Hey gang, okay, we are here. We are doing the hackathon project. This is your semester ending project worth 200 points. Um, but I have some good news. So let's get to it. We're going to cover two parts today because this is block day, and you will likely have to put in 1 hour at least of time outside of class to finish this. Um, And you will also have Monday and Tuesday to work on this, but don't wait too long because you're going to have your final exam starting Wednesday. So let's get to it. Okay, get a partner. You are going to do this project with a partner if you would like. If you would like to do it by yourself, that is also fine. Uh, Normally, I wouldn't like you to just work by yourself because it's always helpful to have a partner. But because of COVID and all that stuff, if you want to work by yourself, it's fine. Um, if you do work by yourself, though, ask some people for help or just get input. Okay. So with your partner, you're going to create an app that uses a data set. And there's two roles in this project, the designer and the programmer. So choose one of those two roles. Do you want to do all the designing, the user interface, those things, or do you want to be the programmer? Now, you're both responsible for the overall project, but it will be helpful to focus on different parts of the project at any given time. Okay, on the last day of the project, you will individually complete a written response that will help you practice for the create performance task. Okay, create performance task is of course the 30% of your AP grade, your AP exam grade, and you're going to practice. So what you want to do is write a really good, clear written response. Answer the things that you're asked, answer them well, answer them clearly, and with specific examples. Okay, so what are you submitting? You're going to submit your app in code.org. You're going to submit this guide, which you received from the sub, and you're going to submit a written response. Okay, your app will have at least 3 screens, all screens navigated easily through the user interface. You're going to have a data set used in a meaningful way toward the program's purpose. At least one list is traversed using a map, reduce, or filter. Indicate which traversal you're using. The program constructs, you will need variables, functions, conditionals, lists, and loops. If you have a traversal, you will have most, if not all of those already. Okay? All of your functions need to include comments, good comments, as we've talked about, that explain their purpose and how they work. All elements should have IDs that are meaningful names, and there are no errors in this code. The sooner you finish this project and submit it, the happier I will be, because it takes me at least 20 to 30 minutes to grade each project. So if you can submit it early, that would be wonderful. I thank you for that. Okay, so step one, we're going to just walk through the handout that you have there. Your handout actually starts with the written response, so you can see what you'll be responsible to explain by the end of this. But go ahead and flip the page, and we can get into the, I guess, the directions of the planning guide. Okay, go back to the make project you just finished, which is lesson 12. Open up the data tab and look at the data sets. Choose a data set that looks interesting to you, and then begin to fill out the project guide. Now you will each complete a project guide, so make sure you put your name on that and hand this in. Okay, step 2, with your partner, you're going to brainstorm an app considering the columns of data that you want to use. How are you going to traverse the data? The most common thing would be to filter the data. For example, filtering dog height filters the dog names, so only the small dogs were added to a list. Okay, you can map your data. Not something that is too common, but you might be doing that if your data requires that. Or you might reduce your data to a single value. Okay, so make sure you explain which traversal type you're going to use. Probably a filter, but it could be a reduce, and you might have a map in there. All right, next step, create your paper prototype. So with your partner, you're going to draw the prototype, see how the app will run when you click here. What screen do you go to? What happens? Okay, write your notes, draw your arrows, show how things work. You've done this before. Okay, and that's it for the first half of class today. For the second half of class, you will be doing this. Step 4, you're going to prepare to build your app. So you're going to fill out pages 4 through 6 in the planning guide. What design elements do you have? Okay, what are their names? What are their notes? Do they do anything? Things like that. What are your variables? What are your conditionals and where are you using those? What are your loops? Okay, what are your on events? What do they do? What are your functions? What do the functions do? Okay, so you've got all of that there, and as you build it, as you code it, you'll be able to fill in that a little better, or add more detail, or correct things. Okay, then you're going to test the screens. So with your partner, you want to build just a quick version of the screens, just that include the elements, like here's a button, here's an image, here's some text. Don't worry about the design at all. Just think of it as like a wireframe where you can just, if you click this button, you're going to go to the second screen, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So test that the screens work. Okay. And all you're doing is coding the buttons to move screens. Okay. Choose your roles. Programmer will be doing the majority of the programming, although the designer might do some programming. You need to communicate your decisions to the designer. Designer, you're responsible for the layout of the app, and communicate with your programmer so you both know what's going on, stay on the same page. Okay. It also says pair programs with the programmer as needed. So as needed, switch roles with the programmer and you do some of the programming, and the programmer will assist you. Okay, if you remember how to do pair programming, we haven't done too much of it this year, but one person is the driver, the other is the navigator, kind of giving directions. And after 2 minutes, 3 minutes, switch roles. The driver becomes the navigator, navigator becomes the driver. Driver starts coding, navigator help them, guide them, ask them questions. And then after 3 minutes, switch again. That will help you kind of keep things fresh and each get fresh eyes on the problems and issues that arise. Okay. Build your app. Use all the information you put into the planning guide to help you build the app. Okay, and you can read the rest of the text on this screen. I'm not going to read it for you. Okay, so let's see. You are able to share your screens with each other. We've done this before where uh, the programmer has a blank screen and they just do some coding, and then the designer can work on their own computer, design on their own computer, and then share the project with the programmer. So copy the link and send it to the programmer, and then the programmer can paste the link in and import the screens into the app. So only one of you needs to submit the app, but you can work on two different computers separately and kind of share your work this way. It's not like Google Docs or anything. It's not that slick, but it works to kind of work on two things at the same time. Okay. Here is where you might want to start doing some work at home on your own, because you will only have 2 more times together to work on the app. Okay, so again, keep building. You might want to spend maybe an hour or so of effort outside of class this weekend to work on this app. Okay, again, you could work separately and then share your work once you come back together. Day 4, you might see this again. Keep building, keep going. Day 5, work on your written response. Okay, so on your individual computers, you have one tab open with the project, one tab open with the written response, and you can write it. Okay, on your written response, you will need to take screenshots of code segments. So let me go back. So screenshots of code segments will either look like the text mode or the blocks. It doesn't matter which you use, but you will need to take screenshots of code segments. Okay. Okay, so this period is mainly to complete the written response, iron out any bugs, get feedback, that kind of stuff. You've done it all before. Okay, when you're all done, remember to click submit on your project. Remember to hand in your project guides and submit your written response, which I will share with, to you via Google Docs. When you're done, check out the other projects in the room. Pick your favorite project, write them a sticky note, and I'll collect the sticky notes later. Okay. So as we vote for each, whichever app in the room that we liked, we will choose a winner of a hackathon. I hope we have time for this. If not, this may extend into the exam day. And that's it. Good luck on your project. I'll be available via Zoom if I'm not in person, although I will try to be there as much as possible. I will see you as soon as I can.